All right, what is going on? We got a video. Today's video, we're kind of going to go over just like a market update type of video. I've been doing a lot of truck talks, and so I kind of want to switch it up. So I'm going to go over what I've been seeing, how the market's been, what's been going on, and what I see coming in the future, I guess. So first things first, let's look at the indexes, right? So market's been very, very solid, right? I mean, we're up from the lows. I think things are up like 2% ish, which is very, very, very extreme move, very quick. So stocks are starting to get really extended, really, I guess what you call like tired. And so we saw that today. So SPY closed green, right? So it closed up 0.44%. But a lot of the positions, like the individual stocks, are leaders. They had a red day today, which kind of shows that it shows the market it's extended, right? It needs a second to kind of chill out, regain its composure, I guess, before it continues higher. Because I definitely am seeing that we're in a bull market. I mean, we're above the 200-day moving average, we're above the 10-day, above the 20-day, and the 50-day. Um, Everything's very, very solid. We're holding this level very nice, right? This is a 200-day moving average, which, if you're below the 200-day, you're technically in a downtrend, right? Because on average over the last 200 days, that's where you would be. So if you're pretty far below that, you're in a pretty aggressive downtrend. But now, we broke above it, we gapped above it, which is the most bullish way to break a moving average, is to gap above it. So that was a very good sign. That was when Trump said they had to deal with tariffs, and so we gapped up pretty big. But this has been a weird rally just because things just kind of started going crazy. There wasn't really like a time to set up. It was kind of like if you were in it when we got the news, then you're off pretty good. And if you weren't in it, then you kind of, I don't want to say you got screwed, because you definitely, there's infinite opportunities in the market, but you didn't get to take advantage of this little run. And so I had positions, but a lot of my positions were smaller size. So PLTR, I bought this on this breakout down here. Oops, I didn't mean to grab that line. I bought it on this breakout here, rode it to the top, sold it up here at the top. I knew there was earnings coming the next day, that's why I sold it. And then from there, it gapped down on bad earnings. Then it kind of recouped right here, made a recovery on the moving average, and then it broke out from there. So then I bought it on this day, and it's still, I mean, it's holding up fine. My stop loss is 122.60, I believe. So, it's holding up fine. Everything's holding up. We're not, I wouldn't say by any means things are crashing, right? It's just everything's been going up very, very fast, very, very quick. So things just kind of needed time to go sideways. And this is honestly what I want, right? ACHR, though, I have this one, and this was our first trade we did going full 1%. And this thing's up crazy. I mean, we bought it down here somewhere, and I mean, it's up like 20% or 18%, something pretty crazy, in a few days. So we trimmed some. I think we've taken off 30% of our original position size. So now we just kind of gonna let it ride. Our stop loss is at break even, so we're risk free, and we're just gonna let it go. And then if we see it starting to show weakness, we'll trim maybe a little bit more. But ultimately, we wait to sell it till it closes below the 10-day moving average, which is this green line here. So positions update, PLTR. Like I said, I bought it on this day. It wasn't a perfect setup. Obviously I wanted to go sideways a little bit longer, but it's such a strong stock and the market was going pretty crazy. So I was like, you know what? It's worth the risk. I got a pretty good entry. And so we risked about 0.5%, maybe a little bit more. And so we're up pretty nice. And then, up at this point, I believe I was up about $1,000 on it on the second day. And then from there, it's kind of went sideways. So we've taken some profit. We're not in much profit, but I moved the stop to break even. We took a little bit of profit. So even if things stop us out, like, we still made some money. ACHR, I went over that one. Very, very strong. It closed strong, closed strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we gap up tomorrow and really get a nice rally out of this thing. Sound, it looks like it peaked. I mean, this is a candle where it's like, hey, moves. I'm pretty exhausted here. So our stop loss is at break even. I'm kind of just letting it do its thing. We don't have a ton of size in it, so I'm not stressed. Like, I'm not, rushing to sell it, because it's a good stock. It's an AI stock, which is awesome. Hood, we have this. We bought it on this day. Broke out of this range. This one I'm pretty upset about. We only did 0.1% risk, right? This is definitely a 1% risk type of trade. So I'm kind of regretting not going full size because I would have been up probably about $5,000 just on this stock. But I mean, it is what it is. You live and learn. When we bought this, the market, we didn't have the tariff news yet, right? Because that was 4 days ago. So the market wasn't as strong as it is now. Anyway, it is what it is. We still got position on it. We're still making money. Our stop loss is at break even, or maybe a little bit in profit. I think it's at break even. And we took some profits, so no complaints there. SES, this one's struggling. We bought this, had a thin day, and then it broke out. We bought it on this day, but it kind of fell back in the range. We haven't got stopped out yet, but I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. It is what it is. That's why we risk properly. This one was an earnings play, right? So it had earnings this day, gapped up huge. We bought it on this day, and it's done well. It's moving really slow. The ADR is 3%. It dropped a lot, right? Because it's the average daily range. So this is how much the stock moves per day. Well, the amount of days it gets this percent off of, it must have been, including a pretty big, like a few big days. So once we got it, then the ADR dropped, because I'm pretty sure it was at 5% or pretty darn close. I would not have bought something with 3% ADR unless I just didn't see it. LTBR, this one looks the same as Sound, right? It went up, had a good run, but it looks pretty weak. Our stop loss is at break even, I believe, so we could get stopped out, but we took some profit, and so either way we make money. EOSE, this one looks pretty good. I mean, it's not moving super strong. We bought it on this day on the breakout, and then it kind of went sideways and then continued higher. It's not moving too much. I mean, it's going up, but it's not like a leader. It's not a super strong stock. This one, I made a little bit of a mistake. We bought it on this day, right? It had earnings, broke out, gapped up, beautiful, and then it went sideways, right? Which is what you are going to experience a lot of times off of earnings. But I set my stop at 985 because I was like, oh, well, if it breaks this trend right here of this candle, then, it's kind of breaking the bull flag, which is kind of, going against my trading plan. But I should have really given it some wiggle room, right? Because it's like sometimes it'll hit the 985, it'll hit the level of this low, and then it'll bounce back. But since I had my stop there, it just sold it. And then it recovered fine. So, I mean, like I said, you're always learning and trading. There's always ways to get better. There's always ways to improve. So, your position sizing can change. Stuff's always happening. So today we bought this one as well. We bought it on this day, actually, on earnings. It had good earnings. We bought it on this day. We were up 20% or so, and then it broke out again today. It broke this range. But then it fell back into the range and stopped us out. So, I mean, stuff like that happens. You can't really get mad because it's like you have to buy this, right? The stock, it went sideways. It's been going sideways for a while, right? And then it gapped up on earnings. Now it consolidated, and then from there it was breaking out basically to all-time highs. I mean, that's something you absolutely have to buy. So is it always going to work just because it's something you have to buy? No. You're always taking a risk. That's why you risk properly, right? So, I mean, yeah, we lost, but what do we lose? A 0.5% of our account. So it's like, it's not like you're not getting stopped out of that and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What am I going to do? Like, it's just like, okay, yeah, on to the next one. Because when you have a trading plan and you have a strategy, when you get stopped out on something that like it was a good play, you don't get mad because like I even said to my members, I was like, if I went back to this morning and I got to replay the morning, I would still buy it. Like, obviously, if I knew it was going to stop out, yeah, I wouldn't buy it. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if I saw that setup again, I wouldn't change anything. We did a 0.5%, which I thought was valid, right? Because it made a big move up and then it consolidated. I would like for it to go sideways for a longer period of time. And then it broke out. So that's why I did the 0.5%, just because it's kind of extended, right? The moving average is down here, and then it broke out. So it was already extended. So you don't want to go full size. But then half size to me, because it's a quantum stock, right? Quantum computing, technology stock, very strong theme and sector. So to me, like, there's nothing I'd change. Maybe do a 0.25% instead of half. But of course, looking back, yeah, you're always going to be able to say that. But in the moment, or like, when it's actually playing out, no regrets. And so, but what I see coming up, right? So what I noticed last time we had a rally is it started with MSTR. It started with Bitcoin breaking out, right? At the beginning of this, so like a couple weeks ago, Bitcoin broke out, and then that caused MSTR, which is a crypto-related stock, a Bitcoin-related stock, caused that to break out, right? And Bitcoin basically has been leading the market higher. And then about a week after that, all of the individual names started, breaking out, like PLTR, all these other market leaders, Hood. And so I'm seeing that exact thing happening again, right? Our leading stocks are slowing down; they're going sideways. Bitcoin is setting up perfectly; it's flagging. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to break out, and then if Bitcoin breaks out, I'm looking at buying CEP tomorrow. If it breaks out and it meets the criteria, especially if Bitcoin breaks out tonight, then it's a definite buy. But we'll see how it acts. And then I also like CAR. This one I prefer for it to go sideways a little bit longer and allow the moving average to really catch up. But this stock has just been grinding up for a while, so you're not always going to get a perfect entry. That's why you risk properly, because even if you get in it and it stops out, it is what it is. As long as you risk what you're okay with losing on that trade. Reddit, this one is going to be a huge trade. Like, this is going to be huge. I'm going to clip this video and put it on whenever I make a bunch of money off of Reddit. But this base it's building down here, right? This base, it's been going sideways for 2 months, 2.5 months, 2 to 3 months between there. It's been going sideways, right? It's at the bottom. Let me show you something. Let me show you exactly what this looks like. Look, went sideways. This one was for a little bit longer, right? Well, not really. So about 2.5 months. Broke out of that range, right? We bought this, by the way. I got 650% on my contracts in this trade. If I didn't have contracts, if I bought shares, I would definitely still be in it. But the contract expired tomorrow, and so there's a lot of moving factors and moving parts when you have that. But this is exactly what Reddit looks like, right? Something that it came down, it found a clear bottom, a lot of consolidation, and now it's kind of squeezing at the top, right? So now we'll go back to Reddit. It's the same exact thing. You start to see the same setups over and over and over. And so that's what I see, and I saw how powerful this was. This thing made an extremely, extremely powerful move. And so Reddit's going to most likely do the same. At least I think it's going to do the same, and I'm going to get in it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? That's kind of the attitude you have to have. You have to have a trading plan, know your strategy, and you try it. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't, if the strategy, if the breakout fails or whatever, then, it is what it is. You risk properly and you follow your rules and you did what you could do. But this one's going to be huge. And then LEU, I want this to consolidate a little bit longer. I want the moving average to catch up to it so it breaks off the moving average, because it gets a little bit tricky if it's already extended. Like QBTS would be an example of that today. It was already extended from this. So it's extended about 12%, right? And the ADR is 11%. So really, if it's above 2 times ADR, then you don't want to buy it. So like, say it was, if it opened here, it'd be a little bit tough. It opened in here and then broke out. Anyways, yeah, this is kind of like an example of, it was a little bit extended. We still got it, and it ended up failing. Could it still work? Yeah, it could work, right? But looking back at hindsight, yeah, maybe a little bit less risk. That's honestly why it helps. It helps to just go back, talking. Like, I'm really just talking through these things, and I'm seeing things, like more and more things on how I can improve. So like going back, I'd be like, okay, QBTS, is it a strong stock? Yes. Is it breaking out? Yeah, it was, but it is already 12% from the moving average, so it is already extended. So you're definitely taking on more risk buying from that point. So going back, I'd definitely do 0.25% instead of half. But it is what it is. It's a difference of a quarter of your account. This isn't the type of stuff that's going to make or break your trading. It's if you're able to cut your losses and hold your winners. So Uber, I want this to set up as well. Also, I meant for this video to be like 5-10 minutes, and it's already at 14. But Uber, I hope this goes sideways a little bit longer, let the moving average catch up, and then breaks out, because this is a market leader. This is breaking out of a huge base. It's been going sideways for a year, pretty much a year. So it broke out very, very strong, and then now it kind of got exhausted, a little bit extended. And so now, if it goes sideways a little bit, I would definitely be buying this whenever it does break out. Pony AI stock, kind of a weird stock, right? It dumped and then went straight up, but it's very, very strong. It's the strongest AI stock right now, at least that I'm aware of. And so now it's bouncing right off the 10-day moving average. So I will be entering this once it, I want it to go sideways a couple more days, and then hopefully we get a nice entry off the moving average. MSTR, see, this one kind of fell today, but crypto related. So when Bitcoin goes, this thing's going to go too. PRCH, I already went over this one. This one, honestly, I can take this off the list. I'm not too enthused with this. It needs time. CTM. This is a really big range. Once this breaks, this will be a huge setup. You can see it's still kind of in the range. Dying volume. But once it gaps out of here, this will be a very, very big move. This one, daily. It's flagging pretty good. It's falling through, though. I don't know if I'll take this. I don't like that it fell below the moving averages. This one just grinding higher. No entry point. QBT. Same theme and sector as QBTS, but I don't know that this will really give an entry either. Coin, this was just added to the S&P 500. Had a good run on that day. I almost bought contracts, but I was like, I don't know that that'll be a big enough stimulus for it to really rally, and indeed it wasn't. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, if you look at the NASDAQ, you know, QQQ, you know, we're pretty extended, right? From the moving average, we're about 3.5%. So we're 2 times ADR away from this. So we are extended. So a pullback wouldn't really surprise me. Or, you know, a lot of people are saying this could be a lockout rally, so things are just going to keep going and not give you a re-entry point. We'll see. You just got to play, you just do what the market tells you. If the market's doing that, then you play accordingly. You don't have to play guessing. You just let it show you what it's going to do, and then you follow that. So, yeah, that was kind of my little rant, I guess, market update situation. So tomorrow, I'm looking at CEP. I'm looking at CAR. I'm looking at LEU. Maybe it would be very low risk. If so, Uber, if this goes, I have to take it, even though it hasn't consolidated much. But yeah, and then I'm watching CEP mostly just because it's crypto related. And it looks great, and it's really strong. I mean, look at this move. It went up 416% in 9 days. 10 days, it went up 400%, right? So strong stock, crypto related, beautiful. But yeah, so that's my update. I'll check back in probably maybe this weekend. I might do a week recap of the market, everything I traded, everything I took, and then the overall profit for the week. So we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little different, so let me know in the comments if you guys got value from this or if it helped at all. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.